Welcome, everyone, to the first of 22 days of trance work. In this series, we'll be offering you a series of lessons adapted from our Akashic Trancework initiation series to take you from the very beginning, lesson 0, grounding, all the way to the final lesson that will show you how to read your own or another person's Akashic records. So we're very glad that you've decided to join us. Welcome. So I like to do these workshops in an interactive, engaged format. So those of you who are joining in live, I would love to hear from you. Feel free to jump in with questions, comments, anything at all. And the main question that I have for all of you before we get started is, what does grounding mean to you? I have my own ideas and opinions and beliefs about what grounding is, but I would love to hear from all of you. What does that mean? And I'll go ahead and keep talking. Otherwise, it's just kind of an awkward silence. So grounding within the context of our modality, the Akashic Trancework modality, is very simply remembering that you are a physical being with a physical body, with physical needs and, yes, physical limitations. It's very important from all perspectives to honor those needs. So in Akashic Trance work, we often connect with people who are already very astrally or psychically active. That's who most of our querents and clients and students are: seers, witches, mystics, sages, meditators, yogis, people like that, energy healers. Those are the kind of people who are drawn to this modality. And what most of us, myself and Astara included, often struggle with is staying present in our physical space, making sure that physical needs are attended to, right? Making sure that we're on time, making sure that we are connected with the world around us, with the people around us, with our families, making sure that our responsibilities are taken care of ourselves financially. These are all energies, concepts that are related to grounding. Now, in trance work, we tend not to try and assign any one belief system to grounding. You can talk about your root chakra if you want to, and oftentimes we do like to deal with different chakras in trance work, but you don't need to know about chakras or energy work or anything like that to be able to ground. Grounding is a very simple process that you can and probably should do every day, especially if you like to work in the astral spaces. If you are an energy healer, or if you do any kind of spiritual work, if you tend to just kind of live in your mind, if you like to sleep a lot, you probably need to ground more. If you find that you have a difficult time staying focused, if you can't concentrate very well, if you are always losing things, if you can't seem to hold a job or find financial abundance or maintain relationships, those are indications of grounding issues. Now, there are, of course, many conditions, many other reasons why these things happen. But fundamentally, we can begin to break those patterns, to reprogram ourselves, if we can begin to intentionally ground. Now, we've learned, and most of you have some kind of grounding practice in place. Most likely, if you are a spiritual person, you probably are familiar with the idea of grounding. And as you know, there are many ways to ground. One of the more popular and effective ways is the practice of earthing. Many people have obtained fantastic results from just walking barefoot on the earth intentionally, or laying, or even burying themselves. Many people also, I kind of did a slip there because I have some opinions about this. Many people also use devices, grounding devices. They plug into outlets in their homes. I personally don't recommend those devices. Many people use them with success. I have an entire Facebook group about earthing, where we talk about the pros and cons of different grounding techniques, different earthing techniques. But that's just physical grounding. It's grounding out the electricity in your body. And that's important too, right? That's an important self-care tool. Now, when we talk about grounding from a trance work perspective, we're talking about communicating with our bodies, addressing the needs of our bodies. Oftentimes, this is just about establishing a relationship. We need to establish a relationship with our physical bodies. We need to be friends with our bodies. We need to listen to the communication that's always happening. Sometimes in trance work, we call this sensual fluency. That's a Stara's term that she coined quite some time ago. And I find it to be very powerful because it really speaks to what it is to be a physical being, to have a physical body, a physical incarnation. Well, most of your experience is dictated by the needs of your physical body, right? You need to eat, you need to sleep, you need to have shelter, you need all these other physical comforts and things like that. And when those are taken from you, your lower self expresses those needs very, very violently, often, right? If you've ever gone for a few days without food or water, then you know how quickly you can slip into that survival mind. So in Akashic Trancework, we believe that self-care is the most important part of any psycho-spiritual healing process. We are a psycho-spiritual modality, meaning that we address both the psychological and the spiritual aspects of the mind-body experience. And that is, we believe that both are important. We don't elevate one over the other. We believe that it's all part of who we are. It's all part of our experience. So before we launch into the exploration of the higher astrals, so to speak, as some people like to say, it's very important to learn how to very easily and very quickly ground. So there are many ways to do this. As I was saying before, you can go out in earth, you can walk around barefoot, you can spend time in the sand. You can also sit and ground anywhere just by saying, I'm sending my energy down into the earth. That's another way. Physical tasks are also very grounding. Chores. Most people don't like doing chores, but if you bring in an element of gratitude and presence into those chores, if you think about the fact that you have a house to clean, you have laundry to do, you have dishes to wash, then those chores become very powerful and they become grounding too. So those are some ways to ground, but I want to show you one of the most powerful grounding meditations that I use. And this is available actually for free. If you would like a copy of a recording of this guided grounding journey or meditation, I'd be happy to share it with you. We have about a 20-minute long one we can give you, and it incorporates crystal singing bowls and all those things. But I'd like to take all of you, those few of you who are present right now, I'd like to offer you an opportunity to go through a grounding process right now. So for this, you want to be in a comfortable place. You want to have some privacy and some relative quiet. It's okay if there's some distractions around. Just make sure that you have about 10 or 15 minutes just for yourself. And just take some deep breaths and release any tension in your shoulders. Move your neck around a little bit. Take some nice deep breaths. And allow yourself to just relax. Sit back. Let your body just relax. And begin to follow the breath. Just breathe and listen to the breath as it moves in and out of your lungs. Just feeling that simple rhythm. Breathing in, breathing out. You may want to find a point on the wall or ceiling to focus your gaze, to just allow yourself to gently relax as you just listen. Listen to your breath. And as you do this, place your hand on your heart and just feel your heartbeat. Listen to your heartbeat for just a moment. Just listen. Your heartbeat has a lot of information for you. It's moving fast, slow, is it steady or irregular? What is your heart telling you? What is your breath telling you? And now, just take a moment to plant your feet and or your tailbone into the earth and stretch your neck up towards the sky as you breathe in. And release the tension in your back as you breathe out. Do it one more time. Breathe in. And breathe out. And check in with your senses now. There's a lot of stuff happening. Things you can hear, things you can smell, physical sensations, thoughts and feelings. All kinds of things are just happening right now. Maybe you have some tension or some discomfort somewhere in your body. Thank that sensation for communicating with you. Your body is communicating with you. It's telling you something. It's telling you that it needs something. And maybe you have no discomfort. And I hope that's true. In which case, just thank your body and thank your heart for nourishing you, for allowing you to have this human experience where you can play and explore. You can hopefully dance and run and sing. And even if you can't do those things, you can still be grateful for your heart. Your heart is your constant friend. It's been with you since before you were born. Take a moment again to put your hand on your heart and just feel that beat. And close your eyes if they're still open. Take a deep breath. And send the energy from your heart down through your feet, down into the earth, down to connect you with all the living things, all the growing things, all the thriving things, all of those things that support you, that nourish you, that nurture you, that protect you. The abundance of the earth is with you. The abundance of the earth, Mother Gaia, embraces you as you feel her gravity. And as you connect with the center of the earth, that molten crystal, the beating heart of the Mother, you feel a sense of peace and calm and warmth washing across your entire body. And I invite you to imagine that you are an acorn growing from the limb of a massive oak tree. With time, you become too heavy and you fall. You fall for a moment, and then you are swallowed up by the earth. And there you rest in the warmth of your mother for seasons, until the conditions are just right for you to sprout. You reach up through the soil, a tiny, tiny sprout, reaching towards the sun, and it warms your branches. And at first, you're a bit uncertain. Anything could trample you down. But soon you begin to grow tall and strong, up through the trees, through the bushes, through the leaves, reaching towards the sky. And as the rain falls, you are nourished. And soon, you too are a mighty oak tree, your branches reaching deep down into the earth. Your roots reaching deep down into the earth. Your branches reaching towards the sky, towards the sun. Feel the warmth of the sun on your bark. Feel the earth, how strongly rooted into her you are. Feel how connected you are to all the other trees, plants, the animals and birds that live in your branches. Feel that connection. So rooted, so grounded. And someday, perhaps, your trunk will fall. But even then, you will nourish your children, and many more oaks will grow. Take a deep breath and remember that you're not a tree, you're a human. And with one more big, deep breath, release any tension that you may be carrying. I appreciate your presence and energy here. You can bring yourself back fully to your physical senses. If you followed that guided journey, you should feel nice and grounded. I would love to hear from any of you who are present here, any comments or thoughts or feedback about what I just shared, or tell me what is grounding to you. I really love hearing different ideas and exploring. That's really what we do in our workshops. We bring together people who are ready to do this work, and we talk about it. We explore, we experience, we experiment with different ways to work with our consciousness, both together, collectively, and individually. So what do you think? Don't be shy. It's okay if you are, but I'd love to hear from you. So for those of you who have not been through it before, we are actually offering another one of our Akashic Trancework intensives starting on January 15th, and we'll be going through 28 lessons in a similar vein to what we just experienced. So that's then, but over the next 21 days, we'll also be offering more of these trance work lessons. Thank you, Shasta. We appreciate that. So, guided meditation or guided journeying is one way to ground, but it's absolutely not everything. You're welcome, Claudia. There are many other ways to ground, as I mentioned. Thank you, Karen. Many ways, and I really encourage you to find your own way to ground. In fact, if you were to become one of my students, I would say ground daily. Find something, some practice, some ritual, some object that reminds you that you are a physical being in a physical body, that reminds you to take care of yourself. Self-care is the most important part, well, of life, really. But when it comes down to exploring these higher energies, these higher astral spaces, as I was saying in the beginning, it's very easy to forget the needs of the physical body. It's very easy to allow ourselves to get distracted. And then what happens when we don't properly care for ourselves? Well, a lot of things can happen, and usually not things that we want, right? It's very important that those needs are taken care of. Oh, thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. Thanks, Alyssa. I hope that this was beneficial for you. So I will be allocating about a half hour to each of these, and I'll try to do them around the same time, about 9 p.m. Eastern. So feel free to join. Of course, we'll have these recorded for Facebook. I can't speak to what the quality will be like. It is Facebook, but we'll do our best to give all of you some access to what we've learned in this modality. We've really come a long way from where we started. We started with some growing pains, learning, channeling, building, developing, reading, writing, researching, studying. And every time that we go through one of our intensives, every time that we go through this process that we call the activation, release, expansion process, each time it's something new. We're always exploring something new. We're always bringing in new elements, new practices, new ways to do things. We like to always be growing. It's very important to us. So again, we appreciate all of you for being present. We appreciate those of you who are watching this as a recording. Please feel free to reach out to myself or Astara if you have any questions. And before I let you go, those of you who are still with me and still watching this, I want to offer you something that we do out of love. And we have very few really effective names for what this is. Sometimes we call it light language. Sometimes we call it healing or attunement. Yes, tomorrow at the same time, we'll do this again. So I'd like to offer for the next few minutes, those of you who are present, an energetic attunement. And since you've waited this long and you've been watching this long, it means this is for you. This light language, this activation is yours. So I offer it to you now first by calling in our guides, calling in our ancestors, calling upon all of the divine light beings in the universe to be with us now in this space, to assist us now in clearing away any densities or cords or hooks or constructs or vibrations or anything at all that does not belong in this space. We clear that energy away. We send it back to the source of divine unconditional love from whence everything comes. With deepest gratitude for the lessons that have been brought to us, we now call upon the divine voice to assist us in fully clearing the energies of all beings who are with us. Hi, Tammy. Aho Chandra wa Undra Wehu Naro Anshe Ahu Hare Andre Ha Andre wa Usharo Andra Yalo Hara Andra Yanu Ha Shundra wa Usha Enuru Andra wa sera ashe ala mantro tutra samashunara walu umbare are wanshe are wanshe are wanshe are wan he hare wanshe rawa he ranvara hare wan hare wanshe are nare wa nare wa nare ho andre wa hu we nun share we hundra we shire hundra we shara hundra we me hundra we hundru are orandru. Thank you for receiving this experience. And once again, thank our guides and ancestors and all the divine beings in the universe for coming forth and assisting us, all of us in this space, for helping us to ground our energy. Tomorrow, we'll talk about awareness. What is awareness and how can we access different states of awareness? I want to thank you again. Deepest blessings. Love you all. Until next time.